Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Mary Felling, physical therapist. Today I'm going to show you a wonderful technique to help any of you that has calf pain or stiffness, and particularly calf pain or stiffness that's down here in the part of the calf called the Achilles tendon. So all you're going to need is a chair, and you got to be barefoot or a sock on your foot when you do this. All right, let's get started. All right, so all you'll need is a chair. You can also do this in a couch, but in the chair, you want to bring yourself or in the couch all the way forward to the edge of it. So you're sitting way forward. You got the non-working leg kind of out and forward. It's not back like this. It's going to be one of your stabilizers. And then this foot is the one I'm going to be working on. So we're stretching the heel cord. We're doing a myofascial release for that very bottom of the Achilles, of the calf muscle. So all you do is slide your foot back. You do not want to have a shoe on, no kind of footwear, just your sock or your bare foot. And you slide back until your heel just starts to come up off of the floor. And at that point you stop and then press the heel down and you'll feel this nice little stretch in the back. For some of you, you might be feeling pain through the front. About 10% of my patients felt that. So you wouldn't start with this technique. You'd want to do the calf release technique for the back of your calf and for your Achilles tendon. And that video is on my YouTube channel that you're in right now. You can look for that. All right, so for the rest of you, all you're feeling, you're coming back. My foot has come up, or heel of my foot has come up off the floor. So I'm pushing that down and I really have to push. That's how tight my Achilles tendon is, that heel cord. And this is your 5-minute position. So we've got our clock started. And as always, we're staying at 5 minutes because in the John Barnes myofascial release techniques, actually that is so tight, I'm going to bring my foot up a little bit. There, that feels better. In the John Barnes myofascial release techniques, we always put a minimum of 5 minutes of a mechanical energy into our system. And we do that because it's the mechanical energy of elongation, which we're doing in this case, or compression or twisting that elicits the piezoelectric effect after 5 minutes. That piezoelectric effect, just a bioelectric flow, moves through the fascia. And when it comes to that area of fascia that's tightened, dehydrated, and bound down, it helps it to rehydrate, elongate, and soften. So, as our daily lives move forward, we're doing all kinds of things that create tension and restrictions in our fascia and muscles. We're not trying to cause it, but just the daily life we have here in our Western civilization of sitting prolonged periods, repetitive movements, repetitive and overuse movements adds up to stiffness in the fascial system, that cobweb in our body. And if it's not addressed, it only becomes tighter and more entrenched through our lifetime. Traditional therapies don't address the myofascial component. Myo means muscle, so the muscle and the fascial component. And so the fascia not being addressed remains tight, even though we're trying to stretch our muscles. Once I showed my patients how to address the fascia, how to do releases for the area that they had pain and tenderness or myofascial restrictions, once they learned how to release that, then they got permanency to the changes. So if you're trying this for the first time, if the word myofascial or the word fascia is kind of new to you, it's prolonged elongation or compression or twist techniques to help allow that electrical flow to come through, move through the fascia. The fascia is like the copper wire in our body. And as that electrical flow moves through the fascia and it gets to those dehydrated, bound down, tightened areas called myofascial restrictions, it softens and releases them. Traditional muscle stretching will not affect the fascia. So that's why we're holding. And I say a minimum of 5 minutes, which is what we're going to be doing today, because you can stay there for 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes. You'll just get more and more releasing. These releases I'm talking about feels like relaxation in the muscle area, feels like taffy stretching or butter melting. You might have some sudden warmth come in an area. That's a sign of a fascial release. Sometimes people will be working on themselves and they'll tell me, you know, when I'm doing that particular technique, I can feel it pull up into my knee, or I feel it pull around into the inside of my thigh. Yes. So what the body's telling you is there's a fascial tension in the area that you're working that has created tension into the other part of the cobweb, into the other part of the fascia, up at the knee or down in the shin. So you'd want to continue working in that area to help relieve the other symptoms. Fascia is made from one piece of material. So this fascia, runs from the bottom of your feet up your body to the top of your head, front to back and side to side. And that fascia surrounds and it infuses and supports everything in our body, not just our muscles, but it also supports our ligaments, tendons, blood vessels, nerves, your organs. Everything has a sinewy cobweb in and around it. And so just like my grandmother who knitted scarves from one skein of yarn, that whole scarf was connected. It's the same in the fascia. Every part of our body is connected to the rest of the body via the fascial system. So as you're working on one part and doing a technique to help loosen and soften and rehydrate the fascia in one part of your body, it's helping the entire web. The entire web's getting a little boost of release. And that's what we need. We need to keep ourselves as flexible and mobile in our life. That determines how independent you stay when you're in your 80s plus. All right, so we're coming down to that end of the 5 minutes. So very slowly, just going to take my leg back out. And you're very welcome to continue in doing several more minutes on that side, or maybe you want to switch, do your other calf. This is really good for you runners too. Anybody who has to squat a lot and come back up to stand, this is very helpful. Those poor calves get a lot of workout in those kind of conditions. All right, if you are also looking for another technique for maybe higher up in the muscle belly, I do have that calf release technique also here on the YouTube channel. All right, thanks for joining me, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you in our next video.